VRChat, a place once civil and innocent. A social platform used for the endless adventure into the limitless potential of virtual reality. But now, degeneracy and corruption lurks in its ecosystem. Innocence, a rarity. As the gullible and pure get swallowed up by the corrupted and vain. If you're not careful in these jungles, this fate could be yours. And that's where I come in. Yo, it's KO! And today, we'll be breaking down some of the different types of people you'll run into in VRChat. Follow me in a parody of a safety instructional documentary series to keep you safe in the wild jungles of VR. Welcome to my series, The Personalities of VRChat. We'll be using the term roleplayers pretty loosely for this video. In this video, we will be breaking down 3 different types of personalities: memers, milsimers, and impersonators. Each personality is vastly different from the other, and aren't exactly connected like they were in the Trolls video. We put these 3 together under the roleplayers term, since each of these include at least some elements of roleplay. Now, let's not waste any more time, and get straight into the first personality.
You know the way.
Memers are the backbone of VRChat. These guys are what made this game so popular in the first place. Everyone knows about the Ugandan Knuckles. They are the perfect example of a memer. A memer is someone whose entire purpose is to make people laugh with funny imitations and silly avatars. Rarity level? Rare. These guys used to be all over VRChat back in the day, but today, they're a lot harder to find, unfortunately. Who knows though? Maybe the return of the memers just around the corner. Community category, traditional, or any. Other than maybe being somewhat part of traditional communities, these guys don't have a specific category they fit under, and can be found with really any group of people. Common setup? Any. You can find people on desktop who scoot around in a goofy avatar and make jokes, just as much as someone with the full setup. Being silly on VRChat has no hardware requirements. Memers usually have the following traits: funny, silly, witty, and sometimes inappropriate. A lot of times their humor comes from shock factor and good comedic timing. To some, this can come off as inappropriate, but to others, it can be the funniest thing they've seen or heard all week. What's great about memers is more often than not, they haven't let the ecosystem of VRChat affect them. Memers stay away from the deep end and enjoy taking VRChat not so seriously. To give you an example of a memer, meet my friend.
I'm Sin and I'm your grandma's daddy. I'm Sin and I got type 3 diabetes. I'm Sin and I'm #1 in ass eating competition. You can't beat me, son.
Sin is here to have fun and loves to make his friends laugh.
Oh no.
Sin couldn't care less about e-dating or e-drama. That's not what VRChat is about for him.
Delicious definitions make them boys go loco.
Why do your legs look like that? It's the new Doritos flavor, 99% air flavor.
To Sin, VRChat is a virtual playground. Nothing more, nothing less.
You flagged the f out of me.
Milsim means military simulation. These inhabitants turn VRChat into their own military roleplay playground. They don't always roleplay though. Sometimes they just like the Milsim avatars, which come in an extremely wide variety. A lot of times, these inhabitants are in the military in the real world, come from a military family, or are just obsessed with war history or war video games. Their avatar doesn't have to be military either. Sometimes they prefer an avatar from Halo, from Star Wars, or pretty much anything that has to do with war and guns. Rarity? Uncommon. You'll see Milsimers in VRChat's ecosystem pretty often, but maybe not as often as some other personalities in VRChat. So to keep that separation, we'll be ranking them as uncommon. Community category, Milsimers, or any. Milsimers can have their own communities, but there are also Milsimers that associate with other communities as well. Often these Milsimers aren't just Milsimers. Sometimes they can also be clubbers or furries or pretty much anything else. It depends on the individual, but whenever this happens, they often belong to a community outside of Milsimers. Common setup: quest, half body, or full body. I don't often see Milsimers on desktop mode. Usually they're in VR because that's what makes shooting guns and acting as a soldier so fun. Ducking behind cover and shooting a gun on desktop mode doesn't really hit the same. Milsimers usually have the following traits: nerdy, obsessive, active, and sometimes a little fruity. These guys are huge history or lore nerds, and can often be borderline obsessive with it. They're also often pretty hyper people and have a lot of energy. The fruity bit, I can't really explain. You're gonna have to ask a Milsimer for that one. These guys really range when it comes to how deep they've dove into VRChat. Sometimes they only wear Milsim avatars and stay away from the deep end, and other times they're in real deep. Meet another friend of mine.
Corporal Greg, 11 Bravo, U.S. Army, reporting for duty.
Greg is obsessed with Milsim roleplay and grew up in a military family. He also loves nothing more than talking about war, history, and guns. So when he meets someone like him, he gets real excited.
Tanks,
B-2 bomber,
fighter jets,
AK-47,
Vietnam.
Call of Duty.
Oh my God!
Okay, maybe a little too excited. See, that's what I was talking about, the fruitiness. Greg is the perfect example of what makes someone a Milsimer. In this case, he doesn't really belong in any other community outside Milsimers, but if he did, that wouldn't take away from the fact that he is indeed a Milsimer through and through.
Watch your tone, boy.
Impersonators are people who use VRChat as a place to impersonate famous people or characters from video games, movies, and cartoons. They either voice act and can mimic voices well, or use a soundboard to speak as the character they are impersonating. Sometimes they have their own original characters that they play as well. It can be pretty fascinating. Rarity level, legendary. Our first legendary personality. These guys are so rare to come across. Like memers, they used to be more common, but now finding a good impersonator is like finding a diamond in the rough. Community category, none. These guys usually get on by themselves and just go around entertaining people. Kinda like a little show traveling from world to world. They can have friends and hang out with groups, but they are who they are no matter who they are around. So as a personality, they don't really belong in any category. Common setup, any. Impersonators often have the following traits: immersive, entertaining, creative, and sometimes comedic. Impersonators usually stay away from the deep end of VRChat and just use VRChat as a way to entertain others and get some laughs and awes. For the example of this video, I brought along Boardigaunt. Boardigaunt uses a soundboard with hundreds of voice lines to play out his characters. To show you the vast amount of voice lines, I interviewed him with common questions. So what's your weapon of choice?
The axe?
That's a nice axe, Kratos.
I too like the axe.
So do you have a lady in your life?
She is dead, boy.
Oh. Any advice for any new players on VRChat and what they may see?
On our journey, we will be attacked by all manner of creature. Close your heart to their desperation. Close your heart to their suffering. Do not allow yourself to feel for them. They will not feel for you.
And if they don't close their heart to it, what then?
They are not smart.
How did you learn to close your heart to the creatures of VRChat?
Our elders beat us till we could not stand. That is how Spartans are made.
Oh, geez, that's so good. Well, Kratos, thank you for your time.
You are welcome.
You can't tell with the editing, but he was really quick to answer. It's quite impressive and very entertaining in group settings. Are role players safe to approach? Oh, 100%. These personalities are fun, and depending on your interests, they each may fascinate and entertain you. It's upsetting that VRChat's ecosystem has changed so much, because back in 2020, these personalities dominated VRChat along with the traditional personality I covered in a different video. But who knows? Maybe the good old days will come back around. That's all I got for the role players' personalities. If you think I missed any, let me know. Either way, I got plenty more personality videos coming your way, so stick around. In the meantime, if this video was entertaining for you, feel free to check out my other personality videos as well. Either way, I'm dipping out. So you do you. I'm out of here.
Okay, I did you a pits pull down right at the last moment, so you can cut it off right there.